You wake up. It's dark. No walls, no door, no lock, not even shoes. And somewhere about 40 meters away, something with 6-inch claws is quietly deciding whether you look like dinner. Welcome to life before roughly 10,000 years ago, a world where you were nowhere near the top of the food chain. You were simply on the menu, somewhere between antelope and why not? And yet here we are, 8 billion strong. Somehow, our ancestors didn't get eaten. They survived hundreds of thousands of years of being soft, slow, and essentially naked in a world built to destroy them. So how did we actually pull that off? The answer is far stranger and more impressive than you'd expect. It wasn't one single trick. It was a stack of adaptations, behaviors, and social developments layered over deep time. Let's go all the way back and be honest about exactly how bad the situation really was. Go back 2.5 million years. Early hominins were small, fragile, with brains still developing. No fire, no complex tools, no language, no coordinated hunting strategy, just a prey animal, full stop. And the predators back then weren't like today's lions and leopards. They were significantly worse. There was a prehistoric hyena the size of a lion, with jaws strong enough to crush elephant bones. There were multiple species of saber-toothed cats, the most famous with canine teeth nearly a foot long. Giant crocodiles that made modern Nile crocodiles look small by comparison. Cave bears standing 12 feet tall when upright, weighing up to 1,000 kilograms. Even a giant eagle in New Zealand hunted prey roughly the size of a human, with talons like a tiger's claws. These weren't cartoon monsters. These were real, highly evolved killing machines sharing the same open landscapes, and often near water sources, exactly where every predator also gathers, waiting for prey to arrive. So how did humans avoid extinction in those first 100,000 years? It starts with something almost too simple. They stayed together. Group living became one of the oldest, most powerful survival strategies in nature. A lone human at a water's edge looks like an easy meal to a predator. 25 humans, screaming, throwing rocks, and advancing together look like a much worse idea entirely. This is called the dilution effect, and it's mathematically real. Your odds improve simply by being in a group. But it was more than math. Groups actively mobbed predators together, screaming and throwing objects in coordination. Large predators almost never want an actual fight. An injury means they might not hunt again for weeks. So most large carnivores are deeply risk-averse, preferring an easy kill over unnecessary danger. The groups that stood their ground survived. The ones that scattered simply didn't. Natural selection is a merciless teacher. Now let's talk about the thing that truly changed everything: fire. Almost every large land predator has an instinctive, hardwired fear of fire, built over millions of years. This wasn't learned behavior. Fire was always uncontrollable danger in nature. Lightning, volcanic eruptions, pure threat. So when a predator encounters fire, the instinct isn't curiosity, it's retreat. Our ancestors discovered that a burning fire created a boundary almost nothing was willing to cross. Night, once the deadliest time for early humans, suddenly became survivable. People slept in shifts. Someone always watched the fire. Someone always watched the dark. Fire did more than repel predators. Smoke drove off disease-carrying insects, and cooking killed dangerous bacteria. Fire hardened wooden spear tips and let humans survive winters predators once had entirely to themselves. Before fire, humans were something the world happened to. After fire, they started happening to the world. Now let's talk about sleep, a massive, underappreciated vulnerability in this whole story. Roughly a third of life spent completely unconscious, unable to run or fight, is a staggering weakness. Before fire was reliable, the solution was elevation. Get off the ground entirely. Like chimpanzees still do today, early humans likely built sleeping platforms high in the trees each night. This didn't make them fully safe. Leopards are expert climbers, and evidence shows they dragged prey into trees too. But it narrowed the threat from nearly every predator down to just one that could climb. A real improvement. Then there were caves, defensible, sheltered, but full of uncomfortable trade-offs. Caves are also exactly where large carnivores already lived. Cave bears, cave hyenas, cave lions. Moving into a cave sometimes meant moving into someone else's home, one they weren't willing to share easily. Archaeological sites show humans and predators alternating occupation of the same caves over thousands of years. Here's where things get really interesting. What truly separated humans from every other prey animal? Language. The ability to describe the past, warn about the future, and share abstract knowledge changed everything. Without language, every individual has to personally encounter danger to learn from it, often fatally. With language, one person's close call becomes an entire group's permanent knowledge. Knowledge stopped dying with individuals. It accumulated, compounded, and passed across generations. Predators had teeth, claws, speed, and strength. Humans had knowledge that never stopped growing. Then came the spear, the moment humans shifted from purely defensive to genuinely offensive. The oldest known wooden spears, roughly 400,000 years old, were engineered for balance and throwing accuracy. Before this, harming a predator meant being within its reach too, a dangerous, often losing exchange. A throwing spear changed the entire equation, allowing real damage from 20, 30, even 40 meters away. Groups could now attack from multiple directions at once, overwhelming a predator's risk calculation entirely. And predators learned fast. One painful encounter with spear-throwing humans was often enough to avoid them permanently. Over generations, predator populations near humans developed genuine behavioral avoidance. The fear slowly reversed direction. There's a concept in ecology called the landscape of fear, how prey constantly map danger across their entire environment. A gazelle avoids specific valleys and waterholes based on where predators are likely to be. Ancient humans did this too, but collectively, sharing their mental maps through language across the whole group. This valley is safe in summer, but dangerous once the bears come down in winter. This waterhole draws lions after the dry season. Early settlement patterns show deliberate site selection, elevated views, natural barriers, safer water access. These weren't random choices. They were the product of shared, accumulated, multi-generational survival knowledge. And gradually, humans stopped just navigating the landscape of fear. They started reshaping it entirely, using fire to drive predators out, hunting large carnivores directly, expanding their own range at nature's expense. One more secret weapon deserves real credit: the strange, underrated power of the human body itself. We're not fast. A lion hits 60 kilometers an hour. Even elite human sprinters barely manage 45 briefly. But ask a lion to run steadily for 4 hours in 30-degree heat, and it simply cannot survive that. Humans are among the only mammals capable of persistence hunting, running prey to exhaustion over long distances. We sweat across nearly our entire body, letting us run and cool down simultaneously, genuinely rare among mammals. Combined with an efficient upright stride, humans became true endurance machines, able to outlast almost anything. In a confrontation, humans had something most prey never had: a real long-distance escape option. Just run. Keep running. By around 50,000 years ago, something extraordinary had fully taken shape. Full modern language, layered social structure, abstract thinking. Cave paintings weren't just decoration. They were communication, sharing knowledge about animals, dangers, and locations. Bone needles, rope, fish hooks, and traps required genuinely imagining and preparing for the future in advance. Humans coordinated hunts and defenses at a scale and sophistication no other species could approach. Entire herds were driven off cliffs using coordinated noise and fire, full territories systematically cleared, and increasingly, humans deliberately hunted the very predators that had once hunted them. The archaeological record shows systematic killing of cave lions and cave bears, not just defense, but clear intent. There's even evidence of ritual treatment of these remains. Killing them had become culturally significant. It was a statement, whether anyone said it aloud or not. We are no longer prey. But this story has a sobering side too. The woolly mammoth, the saber-toothed cat, the giant ground sloth, all gone. The cave lion, the cave bear, the giant elephant-crushing hyena, the massive Irish elk, gone as well. On nearly every continent, megafauna collapsed within a few thousand years of modern humans arriving, a pattern too consistent to ignore. Not because humans were physically superior, we clearly weren't, but because we had language, fire, spears, and knowledge that never stopped growing. We weren't the biggest, fastest, or strongest. We were simply, quietly, the most dangerous thing to ever walk this planet, and the predators learned that far too late.